Greetings! Just here hanging out just below the summit of Hager Mountain here in south central Oregon, above the community of Silver Lake. It's one of the more popular wintertime backpacks, or snowshoes I should say apparently, to come up here and use the fire lookout, which of course out of the fire season is not occupied by a fire lookout. But here in July, it's early July, there is definitely a lookout here, and she was lovely. Wonderfully friendly person. More than happy to sit and chat for as long as you feel like sitting and chatting. But getting up here is not that hard. You just drive from near Thompson Reservoir, which is around the corner of these rocks here. Just below the summit there's this set of rocks, and you can actually get out of the south wind if it's a south wind day like today. And so I decided to come over on this side of it and not bother the poor lookout with my silly video up there. But let me just take a quick peek up over these rocks here. We can see what it looks like up there. I'm going to have to do a little bit of climbing, which you normally would never have to do in order to come up here. But the mountain itself is just over 7,100 feet. And getting up here again from Thompson Reservoir, it's only maybe like not even a 4-mile hike. There you can see the lookout poking up. Looking out towards Gerhardt Mountain way out there. We still can't quite see the reservoir because of the rocks here, but it's around the corner and there's not much to see. There's hardly any water. But leading from the reservoir is Silver Creek, which follows out to the town of Silver Lake. And way out there is Fort Rock. And over there are all the craters of the Devil's Garden lava beds and such. And you could probably just about make out a tiny, tiny patch of brown way out there. Those are sand dunes from the dunes out there and the Lost Forest. And here in the foreground, we've got Table Rock, or Table Mountain, I believe. I'm going to try and get up there. And of course, Fort Rock, way out there. We'll definitely have to get out there soon. But let's see if we can go vertically back down this thing. But it's not exactly a mellow hike in terms of steepness. It's going to take you up about 2,000 feet of gain to get up here. But it's worth every bit of effort, and it's a beautiful, beautiful hike. The trail is well maintained, and it's easy to get down. It's not all rocky or messed up in places. Really nice trail, and of course this time of year, it's completely lined with paintbrush and balsam root. And it's just so beautiful right now. With all the wildflowers coming out besides those, oh, it's just stunningly gorgeous. And unfortunately, it's not as sunny as they said it was going to be, and you would be able to see quite a bit of cool stuff here. You could even see Mount Thielsen and the Sisters and all sorts of Cascade volcanoes if it wasn't for the darn clouds. But according to the lookout, this is the nicest weather that she's experienced since she's been up here, so I shouldn't complain too much. But it's surprisingly snow-free. Out here, they haven't had as much precipitation as other parts of Oregon in 2022, so it's dry as a bone. You know, there's a completely dry reservoir out there that normally would have water, and again, Thompson Reservoir is very low. I was out here last year around the same time, and if you ask me, the reservoir is even lower now. It's just amazing. And I was hoping too that the fires last year in 2021 out here in this area hadn't closed all this off or burned it all up, because I wasn't sure exactly how much was actually affected, but it looks just wonderful. It's all green and totally alive. No fire came up here. It's really pretty. But you're going to be looking at, somewhere around 4 miles and maybe 2,000 feet of gain roughly to get up here. But it's worth every bit of it. I mean, you only end up at again 7,100 feet, so you're not super high up in the air, Oh, it's just, and the views. This is just a stunning, stunning view. The better view probably would be around the edge of the lookout, but again, I didn't want to bother that poor lady. I had already harangued her with all my questions and stories and chatter for a good half an hour to 45 minutes, way longer than I planned on staying up here. But I mean, when you've got a friendly fire lookout to chat with, the time passes really darn quickly, and I've definitely had many, many good experiences hanging out with fire lookouts and chatting with them. The only trouble with trying to chat with them is they have business to deal with, and so you can't always have a continuous conversation. They do have to answer the radio, and they do have to get up and check on things periodically. They can't just sit and stare out at the landscape and ignore what's going on. You know, for example, behind us, she had to get up very often and go, oh, excuse me a minute, I have to go look. Oh, excuse me a minute, I have to go look. So if you're going to be coming up and talking to people, do expect that the lookouts have a job to do. But usually they are more than happy to chat with you and visit with you and answer all the questions they can possibly answer. And I was very, very pleasantly entertained as I was up here. I thought I'd have a place all to myself. I didn't realize it was a working lookout. I thought it was just one of those rental lookouts. But oh, the viewpoint is the vistas are just great. The wildflowers, the rock formations, the beautiful forest that you get to hike through to come up here. It's just lovely. And you're going to be using the Fremont National Recreation Trail, which comes along the side of the mountain here and continues off towards Winter Rim. One thing I will caution you on coming out here, if you're going to try and be like me and go in sandals or barefoot or on a mountain bike, as is permitted on this trail, be very, very wary that all up and down the trail there are shards of volcanic glass. Here in the trail there's a piece, more pieces here, and it's just all over the place. There's another chunk there, and I've been seeing there's another piece there. Just shards and shiny bits and sharp edges in a lot of places. There's a little bit of a shard. You can see here some more shards. That's obsidian. That's obsidian, and it just it goes on and on and on all up the trail. Here's another piece off to the side. So you might want to be careful if you're going to be, taking something down this trail that can be easily cut by shards of obsidian, because they are everywhere. See, there's another piece. There's pieces all in the trail. There's shards all over the place. So if your mountain bike is susceptible to broken glass, including volcanic glass, you might want to be careful coming up here to Hager Mountain. And I am definitely not going barefoot, because I don't like walking across broken glass, whether it's made in a man-made volcano or nature's volcano. But out here, there is obsidian, obsidian, obsidian. So just be careful. And continues on down towards Silver Creek, and apparently it goes through the Silver Creek Marsh Campground, I believe is the name of it, where I stayed last year. And it was a lovely experience. I took you there, and you can hear sandhill cranes in the morning, that grok that they make. Oh, it's so cool. It sounds prehistoric. So there's places to camp, there's dispersed campsites, and of course you have a town right there. So you've got cell service, you have access to amenities, there's gas, there's food, so on and so forth. You're not out in the middle of nowhere. So this isn't a wilderness, but it is still very, very pretty and very remote, and it's just been wonderful. But I better get myself down the mountain and get on towards my lunch awaiting for me back down at my campsite. But definitely want to thank you very, very much for joining me up here, on top of Hager Mountain in the Fremont-Winema National Forest in Oregon to enjoy these beautiful, beautiful vistas. Lovely, lovely weather. Luckily, it's not too hot. If it weren't for the clouds, it'd be burning hot. And as you saw earlier, as always, ants.